How many videos per day does my mind create without me recording them? It's a question I've asked myself many times in the last couple of years. Up until now, I did not really have the technology to record all of these ideas. The following question obviously is also important. How many of these ideas are things that I actually want to put out? So let's filter all of these ideas with this filter, things I want to publish. But then still, in the last couple of years, usually, there have been anywhere from a dozen to maybe 200 ideas in a given day that I at least found interesting enough to record them in a video form. I also found them interesting enough that I actually would want to put them down maybe in text. But of course, text has a big disadvantage. It takes a long time to write. So now I kind of have the option to either use ChatGPT Whisper to kind of turn it into text, but that's not really doing anything. It's just documenting my life for whom? Because I am never reading these notes. I sometimes find myself searching in OneNote, where I keep most of my notes, but then also the search function in OneNote is not that great. And I also tried basically recording large bouts of ideas, so basically very complicated problems, and then just having them in ChatGPT. But that's not really working on the problem, is it? So it's like talking to a friend, which is great, but it doesn't usually solve problems. At least, I think it solves problems less productively than basically working actively on the problem, which at least for me usually requires the internet. Of course, if the problem does not involve people, which you then have to talk to, but is more a digital problem, you could say. So it's a problem that is informationally based, excluding the involvement of people. And these kinds of problems, at least for me, I find myself usually solving them on the computer by basically having OneNote open, ChatGPT open, and then searching things. So what I find is that on some days, my brain generates all the time. It's idea after idea after idea, which I all find interesting. So I want to record them, at least for storage. And so I record them, but simultaneously make a video, and therefore I put them out into the public. Of course, then only the ideas that are already filtered. A side effect, I think, of this is when my brain begins to notice that I take these ideas and I make something out of these ideas, it begins to generate more ideas. So what I did in the past is sometimes, already a couple of years ago, I then would just take a page in OneNote, let's say, and then write all of these ideas down. So for the first podcast I had with a friend of mine, I then one day wrote ideas down when my mind was in a generative state, and then I had like 200 ideas or something like this, which then later on I could not really recreate. So I think to a certain extent one needs to time management these kind of states. And so today, for example, I've been recording a couple of videos in the last couple of hours, and maybe tomorrow I do something else.